The cruel thing about secrets is that they don't stay hidden, especially in offices where laughter carries faster than whispers. I wasn't supposed to hear them. Yet there it was. My colleagues laughing, joking about something that made the bottom of my stomach drop before I even knew the punchline. It was about me. No receipt was about him. Ethan. The man who made my heart pound every time he brushed past me in the hallway. The one who pulled me into stolen moments in supply closets and late-night car rides. The man I believed was me, least in the quiet shadows where nobody else was watching. But that afternoon, as I stood frozen by the copier, I heard it all. Yeah, Ethan's got him wrapped around his finger. Poor kid probably thinks it's real. Their laughter hit me harder than a slap. Real? I thought it was everything. The papers in my hand crumpled as I walked back to my desk, my chest heavy with something I couldn't name: anger, humiliation, heartbreak. I told myself not to look at him across the room, but my eyes betrayed me. There he was, Ethan, smiling that same smile that used to melt me, but suddenly it looked different. Calculated. Cold. He must have felt my stare, because he glanced up, his eyes locking with mine. For a fraction of a second, I swore I saw a panic flicker across his face. Then, just as quickly, it was gone, replaced by the charming grin everyone in the office adored. My world tilted. I tried to focus on my work, but the words on the screen blurred. I kept hearing their laughter, his name, the way they said using. Was it true? Had I been nothing more than a convenience for him, a toy to pass the time until something better came along? When the office emptied out that evening, Ethan lingered, as he always did. That was our time when the others left and the silence gave us permission to be something more than colleagues. Normally, I lived for those moments. Tonight, I dreaded them. "Hey," he said softly, appearing by my desk. His voice still had that low, velvet pull, but my chest tightened with suspicion. "You okay? You've been quiet all day." I didn't look at him. "Funny. I was just about to ask you the same thing." He frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" I finally turned to face him. His eyes, blue, steady, always too good at making me believe, searched mine. "It means I heard them, Ethan. I heard what they said." For once, he didn't have a quick reply. His mouth opened, then closed. Guilt flickered in his expression, undeniable and sharp, before he masked it with calm. "You're believing office gossip now?" he asked, forcing a laugh. But it wasn't convincing. Not this time. "Tell me it isn't true," I said, my voice breaking. "Tell me I'm not just something to brag about behind my back." Silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. He looked away first, and in that silence I had my answer. The ground beneath me seemed to split open. Every late-night touch, every whispered, "I need you," every kiss that made me believe I was worth something, they all collapsed into dust. "I should go," I muttered, grabbing my bag. My legs felt weak, but I forced myself to move. "Wait," Ethan said, reaching for my arm. His touch still sent electricity through me. Damn it. I hated him for that. I hated myself for that. "It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I snapped, jerking away. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like I'm nothing but a joke to you." His jaw tightened. For a second, I thought he might finally tell me the truth. Instead, he just looked at me with something that almost resembled fear. "You don't understand," he whispered. "No, Ethan," I said, tears burning my eyes. "You don't." And then I left. The night air outside the office was sharp against my skin, but it didn't numb the ache inside me. I walked aimlessly through the city streets, my thoughts spiraling. How could I have been so blind? So desperate for love that I ignored every sign? But as much as I wanted to hate him, I couldn't erase the way he held me when no one was watching. The way his voice cracked when he told me I mattered. The way his hands trembled that first night, like he was just as scared as I was. Was all of that a lie too? I didn't have answers. All I had was the echo of laughter in my ears and the hollow weight in my chest. What I didn't know then was that Ethan's secrets went deeper than office gossip. And soon, I would learn that loving him wasn't just a mistake, it was a risk that could shatter us both. The days after I walked out blurred into each other. Work became unbearable. Every time I saw Ethan across the office, my chest tightened like it was caught in a vice. I avoided him. I buried myself in meaningless tasks. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop the gnawing ache inside me. It would have been easier if he had been cruel, if he had mocked me with the others, or shrugged like I meant nothing. But he didn't. He looked at me with quiet desperation, like he was silently begging for a chance I refused to give. One night, after everyone else had gone, I found him waiting by the elevator. His shoulders sagged, his perfect mask finally gone. "Please," he said softly, stepping forward. "Just hear me out." I wanted to turn away. I wanted to protect whatever was left of my dignity. But his voice cracked on that last word, and something in Mezamething that still loved him despite everything gave in. We ended up in a coffee shop 3 blocks from the office. It was nearly midnight, the city hushed except for the low hum of traffic. Ethan sat across from me, his hands wrapped tightly around his cup like it was the only thing anchoring him. "I never meant for you to hear any of that," he began. His eyes flicked up to mine, raw with regret. "And I never meant for you to think you were a joke. Because you're not. You never were." I let out a bitter laugh. "Then why do they talk like that? Why do they say you're using me?" His jaw tightened. He looked down, struggling. For once, Ethan, the man who always had the perfect line, was at a loss for words. Finally, he whispered, "Because I let them believe it. It was easier than the truth." "The truth." My chest tightened. "Which is?" He met my eyes then, and I saw it: fear, vulnerability, love, all tangled together. "That I'm in love with you. That I have been for months. And if they knew that, if they knew how real this is, I'd lose everything. My job, my reputation, maybe even my family. So I lied. I made it sound casual. Like you didn't matter. But you do. You're the only thing that matters." The words hit me like a storm. My heart wanted to believe him, to cling to that confession like oxygen. But my head still screamed with doubt. "Do you even hear yourself?" I said, my voice shaking. "You let them laugh at me. You let me believe I was disposable just so you could protect yourself." His face crumpled. "I know, and I hate myself for it. I thought I was keeping us safe, but all I did was hurt you. I never wanted that." Silence stretched between us, thick with unspoken pain. My hands trembled on the table. "Then prove it," I whispered. "Prove to me that I'm not just a secret you'll bury when it gets hard." Ethan leaned forward, his voice barely audible. "Tell me how." And suddenly I knew. It wasn't about grand gestures. It wasn't about him shouting his love from rooftops or confessing in front of the office. It was simpler, harder than that. "Be honest," I said. "With me. Always. Even when it's ugly. Even when you're scared. No more lies. No more masks. If you can't do that, then walk away now." His eyes glistened, and for the first time, I believed he was truly stripped bare. "I can." But I reached across the table anyway, my fingers brushing his. And when he closed his hand around mine, it felt like we were holding on to more than each other. We were holding on to a chance. Weeks passed. The office still whispered, but I stopped listening. Ethan no longer hid behind careless jokes. He didn't parade our love, but when his eyes found mine across the room, there was no disguise. Only truth. One evening, long after the others had left, he came up behind me as I packed my things. For once, he didn't check the doors, didn't glance around nervously. He just rested his hand on my shoulder, steady and warm. "Dinner?" he asked. His voice was casual, but his touch wasn't. His touch said, "I'm not afraid anymore." I smiled, small, cautious, but real. "Yeah, dinner." We walked out together, side by side, no shadows, no shame. For the first time, I realized love isn't about perfection or control. It's about choosing each other through the mess, through the fear, through the laughter of people who don't understand. And when Ethan's fingers brushed against mine in the cool night air, I didn't pull away. This time I held on. Because maybe love wasn't meant to be hidden. Maybe it was meant to be lived, messy and brave, right out in the open. And with him beside me, I was ready to risk it all. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.